If money has ever made you feel embarrassed, behind, or one bad week away from panic, these next few minutes could change how you think about money forever. Because money is not just money. It is stress, it is sleep, it is choices, it is the feeling in your chest when your card gets declined, even if it's only by mistake. And most people never learn what money is actually for. They think money is for buying things. It isn't. Money is for building a life that doesn't control you. Let me show you what I mean. There's a moment almost everyone has had. You check your account before buying something small. Not a house, not a car, something small, food, gas, a bill. And for a second, your whole mood changes. You become quieter, smaller. You start doing the math in your head. If this comes out today, then that bill hits tomorrow, but maybe I can wait until Friday, therefore maybe I'll be okay. That right there is not just a money problem. That is a life problem. Because when money feels tight, everything feels tight. Your patience, your confidence, your future. Nearly half of U.S. adults say money has a negative impact on their mental health, and a majority say they could not cover a $1,000 emergency from savings. And this is where most people start thinking the wrong way. They think, I just need more money. But that's only half true. Because I've seen people on low incomes build peace, and I've seen people on big incomes live in panic. So the real question is not just how much money do you make? The real question is, what job is your money doing? Because money has 4 jobs. Miss even one of them, and it will feel like no amount is ever enough. The first job of money is not to impress people. It is to make you feel safe. That sounds obvious, but look around. People will spend hundreds every month to look successful, but have nothing sitting there for the day life punches you in the mouth. A better phone, a nicer car, brand name everything, beautiful on the outside, fragile underneath. That's the trap. We spend money trying to look secure, but not to become secure. Real wealth does not shout. Real wealth whispers. It looks like a person who can handle bad news without falling apart. It looks like a broken tire, a medical bill, a sudden repair, and no panic. It looks boring until the day it saves your life. That is why an emergency fund matters so much, not because it's exciting, not because anyone claps for it, but because it changes the emotional meaning of money. Money stops being something that attacks you. It becomes something that protects you. And the crazy part? The amount matters less than people think in the beginning. What matters first is the shift. The moment you stop saying, I'll save when I earn more, and start saying, from now on, some of my money stays with me. That sentence changes everything. Because now money is not just passing through your hands. Now it is starting to work for your future. But safety alone is not enough. Because a lot of people have just enough to survive and still feel trapped. Which brings us to the second job of money. Money is supposed to buy back your freedom. Not just stuff, freedom. Freedom is being able to say no. No to the job you hate. No to the relationship that drains you. No to the pressure to pretend you're fine. No to every desperate decision made by tired people who feel they have no choice. That's what people miss. They think money buys luxury. Sometimes it does. But the best thing money buys is space, breathing room, a little more time to think, a little less fear in your decisions, a little less I have to, and a little more I choose to. And this is why some purchases quietly destroy people. Not because they are evil, but because they steal freedom every single month. A payment is never just a payment. It is future time. It is future pressure. It is future energy you have already promised away. That expensive lifestyle you can technically afford may be costing you the very peace you wanted money to create in the first place. And yes, this is where people get uncomfortable, because sometimes the thing making you feel broke is not your salary. It is the life you built to prove something. to friends who are not paying your bills, to strangers who are not losing sleep for you, to a version of yourself that thought looking rich would feel the same as being free. It doesn't, not even close. Now, here's where everything flips. Once you create some safety, and once you stop using money to perform, the third job of money finally becomes possible. Money must start making money. Because if you only work for money, you will stay tired. You can work hard, very hard, for years. But if every dollar only survives one time, if it comes in, gets spent, and disappears, then your effort keeps resetting back to zero.
That is exhausting. This is why people say compound interest is powerful, not because it's some fancy finance phrase, but because it means your money starts carrying some of the weight. You work, then your money works, then the growth on your money works, and over time, something small begins to look almost unfair. That is the quiet miracle most people discover too late. Not that investing makes you rich overnight. It doesn't. It's that time can do what force cannot. Tiny amounts, repeated for long enough, can become life-changing. That is the basic power behind compound growth and long-term investing. And this is where a lot of people check out because they think, well, I don't have enough to invest. But that mindset is exactly what keeps people stuck. Because the goal in the beginning is not to become a millionaire by next summer. The goal is to stop being a person whose money only knows how to leave. Even a small automatic amount changes your identity. Even a small amount says, I am no longer just surviving, I am building. That matters, more than most people realize. And if right now you're thinking, okay, but I still don't make enough, I get it, that pain is real. For many people, the stress is not imagined. Inflation, rising costs, unstable income, all of it is real. And it's one of the main reasons people say they're saving less and feeling more pressure. But this is exactly why the fourth job of money matters most. Money changes with identity before it changes in amount. Read that again. Most people think better money habits come after confidence. Usually it's the other way around. Confidence comes after proof, after 1 month of discipline, then another. Then one saved emergency, then one bill paid without panic, then one investment made automatically while you sleep. Therefore, little by little, your brain stops seeing money as chaos. It starts seeing money as something you can lead, and that might be the biggest shift of all. Because poor money thinking is not just, I spend too much. Poor money thinking is, I deserve this because I had a hard day. I'll deal with it later. One purchase won't matter. I'm just not good with money. Rich people understand something I never will. No, that last one is the biggest lie in the whole game. Most people who become financially strong did not begin with secret knowledge. They began with a different relationship. They stopped using money to numb themselves. They stopped using money to impress people. They stopped waiting to feel ready. They started making decisions that their future self would thank them for. That is how it changes. Slowly at first, then all at once. One day you realize you are no longer scared every time your phone buzzes. One day you realize an emergency is annoying, not devastating. One day you realize you can walk away from things you used to tolerate. And one day, without even noticing exactly when it happened, money stops being the thing that controls your emotions and starts becoming the tool that protects your peace. So if you remember anything from this video, remember this. Money is not for showing people how well you are doing. Money is for making sure your life does not collapse when things go wrong. It is for safety. It is for freedom. It is for growth. And it is for becoming the kind of person who no longer lives in financial fear. That is how you think about money forever. Not as a number, but as power, quiet power, private power, life-changing power. And once you understand that, you will never look at money the same way again.